Oops. So welcome. Welcome to our pop-up Q&A session where you get to pop in and pop out and ask us questions and get to meet us. And we're talking right now about the European contingent, and that our team, we've got, actually, let me just show you so that you get a sense. This is a web page that you should have all been sent. And if you haven't been sent, then let me know, okay? And actually, we've got Pat showing up, and I think Pat is our American contingent here. Pat, you're muted. So let me just show you the web page. Let me see. So we've been talking about Anne Claire that Zoe knows so well. But if we start at the very top, my wonderful web person got this up very fast for us because we realized that I wasn't doing a very good job explaining how full the program is. And this isn't full to overwhelm you. This is full in a way that's very rich, very deep, and very fun while we work together in community transforming old patterns. So I just wanted to show you, we've got Karen here in New Zealand.
Australia.
Oh yeah, Australia, that's right. Karen is Australia. And Matthew did birth dance with us too. I'm just going to see if I can change this. Zoom has, no. There's a way that I can just let people in without having to click every time, but it's not showing up. Let me try one more thing. Oh, it's not showing up today, okay. So Karen, it's, I think, little Rose's birthday. So Karen isn't here today, but as you know, these are busy families. These are team members, and Matthew we love. And then we've got Shelley, who is one of our team members in Colorado, who's been a BCTA teacher, a practitioner and teacher, years, over 20 years, I think. This will show what's in the program, some of it. So we've met Shelley, and she was on the call. Our beloved Inga, who's here. Midwife, I hear, was spelt wrong with a dash.
Oh, good.
I think that's the English spelling. Anne Claire, we've already been raving about Anne Claire. And then we also have Nancy, who is Montreal. So Anne Claire is France, Inga, New Zealand, Karen, Australia, Shelley, Colorado, and Nancy. So we have people in different time zones, and then here's more about what Anne Claire was being saying about how this work has changed things. She will be showing up later, we hope. If you missed the replay, I don't know if you can see, but if you click there, you will get the replay. Inga, I know you were saying you've looked everywhere for the replay. There I am.
Yep, thank you.
See it? All right. So I'm going to come out of this. There we go. So, I do want to apologize because so many people have been saying they haven't received the replay, or they haven't been getting our emails, or so what's really good, and I know you alluded to this, Zoe, is just being aware that for this class, and I've been doing online classes since 2012 with the rejuvenation first class, we've had the most challenges that we've ever had. And my tech team have gone down. I think, Zoe, you had a really hard time. It came through to me. It showed failed twice, your payment. I mean, what was that about?
Yeah. And then the internet cut out yesterday. It was like there was ding, ding, ding. It was very impressive.
It was very impressive. And Zoe, you said, I don't want the ancestors to block me.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought she gets it. So you didn't let the ancestors block you, and you're enrolled, and here you are. Yeah. So well done. Well done. So what's important is that with this particular program, that we are working with multi-dimensions. So the clearer we are, and Inga and I were just sharing this before we started, was the clearer our frequency is, the clearer the less easy it is for all the multi-dimensional swirlings to knock us off track. And then we're able to flow in our own, long tides. If you're a biodynamic craniosacral practitioner, we're able to actually flow and be clear and not get stuck in all these little walls and eddies and currents that throw us off track. So that's why I thought it was be good to offer an open house, because I thought, me just offering this program could be bringing up a lot of confusions and old patterns that say, oh, I can't do this. It's not safe to just be who I am. It's not possible. I've tried so many things. And Inga and I are here to tell you, and the rest of the team, that actually that's not true anymore. And we're here as a really strong container to just go, to use a very strong word, it's bullshit, or if anyone's Italian, bullashita. Yeah, bullashita. So I think, Benjamin, can I ask you a question, since this is Q&A, or would it be too much?
Can't hear you.
I've got a question.
Okay, Sandra. Yes.
Is the program once a year, or?
No. It's once a cycle. So I go through the other elements, and Inga, I think you did this about 3 years ago. Is that right? 2.5, 3 years ago.
3 years, definitely.
3 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking 20. Yeah, I think we started November 21.
November 21. So,
I think.
Sandra, we usually, as I shared in the masterclass, I have never shared this to the larger community. It is literally just for private clients or people who are in the community that's already been working with me and done fire element, water element, at least water element, to get the basic principles. And this is the first time that I've been called to offer it to the larger community. Yeah. I don't know if I'll be doing it again. We'll see what happens. We'll see. Yeah. But good question. Good question. Yeah.
Thank you. The whole cycle is 3 years.
If you do the others, but this particular program is 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think.
But I'm in the second round of the cycle. Just to say.
Oh, I see.
So I did it as a student, and then I did it, now I'm on lovely Susan's team, so in a way it's the second time, so it's 1.5 years or so.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and there is, if people have done the program before with us, then they do get to audit, and I think it's 197 if they want to audit. But the wonderful team that I have, they've been showing up and supporting students and supporting me in a way that's incredible. And I'm just feel so honored and so blessed, because in my childhood growing up, I was a loner and very independent and thought I had to do it all myself. And so this is new for me in the last few years. So thank you, Inga. And that shows the shift that I had in breaking through those family patterns. So this particular 6 months, we've got extra modules, we've got the extra bonuses, including the Brain Bootcamp. And we've got the practice sessions. If you miss the practice sessions with me, and I know some people have shared that, they need to go to bed when it's late in Europe or whatever, then we've got our wonderful team. And those of you who are in Europe, you've got Anne-Claire leading the practice sessions. And Anne-Claire, I'm sure you know this, Zoe, is incredible. She's very intuitive, and she really gets what the programs are about. she sometimes expresses them better than I do. I think I've told her that, haven't I, Inga? Because there's such an intuitive level, and so much of it is just based on natural law and information that's been downloaded. So, yeah. So I'm excited. I was not going to ever offer it out to the greater community, but I'm really excited that this opening happened where I saw it is possible once we've taught you the Brain Bootcamp. Yep. So we get you up to speed with that, and then you will have the skills to go deeper with all the other modules that we'll be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did that answer?
And I think also, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I think also the difference is in the first round, always sounds a bit funny, the first round, but the first cycle where I was a student, we met with other students, but we didn't have a team as such of doing extra work directly one-on-one or 1-on-3 or 1-on-2 with actually someone else who, in a way is there to support you only. It was basically really, we met with whoever might have been our practice partner, and that I think has made a huge difference in this last cycle so far, that we have always been present, and we do a lot of breakout rooms where always one of the team will be in the breakout room with students, which has increased, I think, the possibility, to go really much faster. I feel it, in a way it has developed. People got it so much easier than I felt I did at the time.
Yeah, I totally agree. And also, each time I teach this particular element, or each element, kind of it's like the potency builds. So the potency for this wood element to be able to be more public, not that it will be public, of course, but to a community that hasn't already worked with me, the potency's there, which is so exciting for me. It's like, and Inga will know this, and occasionally I put her on the spot, don't I, Inga, where it's like that wood energy is the bubbling up where we've been in our little seed place. And I'm willing to bet that quite a few of you have been in your little, quiet inward place. And something just keeps bubbling to say, you know what, is it time to peek out and, share a little bit more of my light with the world? And then stuff might come in and go, wham, no, it's not okay. You can't share who you are. You're not going to fit. You don't belong. Whatever comes up, all the things that came up for me because my grandmother never belonged, having been an orphan. Little things like that. It feels like the potency is stronger. So Inga is right. The skills and the tools with this brain network balancing, they can help us shift, because it's things that you can do for yourself every day. And when we come together, it takes it to another level. And Inga was right. It's like we've got the team, but we also have the community that did the other programs with us, and they are coming into Core Light Magic for the first time. So it's brand new for them. They haven't done this, have they? Inga, they haven't done this. So I'm kind of excited for them, but they've got the skills that I know they can hold a stronger container for new people coming in. Pretty exciting. I'm excited. And I know Anne-Claire said that the first time she did this, she did a lot of this herself. Welcome, Jules.
Hi,
Jules, can we ask where you're from? Where you're coming?
Hi, sorry. I've been listening, just getting with everybody. I'm in Sydney. I'm a very good friend of Karen's.
Oh.
Are you Julie? Are you the famous
Yes,
Julie?
Julie. Yes, Jules is what I call myself. I'm Julie Bang.
Julie, yeah, of course.
So
Well,
I'm on the northern beaches of Sydney. Thank you. Lovely to connect.
Whereabouts in Sydney?
Northern beaches, so literally just north of Manly at Freshwater.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, yeah. My Aunt Susan, who the fire element, natural facial rejuvenation is based on, she was in Potts Bay, I think. Potts Bay, yeah.
Nice.
So
I'm actually a
definitely.
Kiwi, but I've been here 21 years with my husband and two teenagers. But Karen and I actually did our stillness trainings with Terry Collinson, our biodynamic cranio training together, and we knew each other before that through working in massage in Manly. So yeah, I'm actually going to go have a session with her today, I hope.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So then you've seen this already because I sent you the sneak peek, didn't I?
Yes.
Let me see
Very
if
beautiful.
see if I can get back to
Thank
it.
you.
Um,
Beautiful family photo.
Beautiful family photo.
And yes, it is Rose's birthday today.
Rose's birthday, and let me see. Can you see this? Am I making you sick? Oh, no.
Yes, it's a gorgeous photo.
Is this Rose?
Yes.
I thought, okay.
That's Rose.
So it's Rosie's birthday today. So happy birthday, Rose.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Fantastic. So, what we were talking about, so Jules, that we have this wonderful team in different parts of the world, and so they will be leading practice sessions. So I think Jules,
Yeah,
I
that's
keep
beautiful.
thinking of you as Julie because I've had emails from you as
You
Julie.
can call me Julie, that's fine.
Yeah. But I think you said, well, you wanted to do the live part and you didn't want to miss those. So the boot camp you asked about tomorrow, the boot camp is fairly quick because I'm giving you the brain network theory. We will be doing a practice session, of course. We always do practice sessions. If you have to miss it because you have to rush off to work, maybe we can prevail on Karen to do some live boot camp, brain boot camp stuff. That would be very good for Karen. Because remember, we're in wood energy, so this is all about growing. So you asking us for what you want helps us grow into providing what you want. So it's kind of this back and forth, which is really fun. Julie, usually there are, our team does practice sessions like in between. So I'm every 2 weeks.
Yes, Karen's
then
told me that, yeah.
She's already told you.
Yes, she said how she does groups personally and how wonderful it is. She's had an amazing transformation.
Yeah, it's been wonderful to watch her. And I was sharing the picture of Matthew because he's been part of our program too. Yeah.
So next Thursday will be less than 2 hours in total, or you don't know? I know
The first Thursday is tomorrow. Yeah, that's the boot camp.
Oh, I thought it was the 13th, the 14th for me.
The 14th is the day we officially kickstart Core Light Magic.
So what time is it? 7 a.m. for me. Is it 12 p.m. for you tomorrow?
It'll be 12
It's 7 a.m. for you in Sydney. Yeah.
Inga knows. Okay.
That should be fine. It's a Saturday. Yep. It's even better than a Friday. So I literally have to leave for work.
No, it's Friday.
No,
it's tomorrow.
It's a Friday.
It's Friday.
Oh.
No, it's Friday in New Zealand and
yeah.
Australia. I'm in New Zealand, so
yes,
yeah.
Okay.
It is tomorrow,
Sorry, it's Thursday.
7 a.m. Sydney time.
But will it be a solid
Friday.
2 hours or finish it like an hour and then practice? Or
it's what I ended up doing in the last class, when we did the twin patterns, was the practice part and the brain network shifts was so important that I actually cut out quite a lot, didn't I, Inga? Quite a lot of the data. So the data is actually there to be viewed on video, and it'll be Inga's training, so you're going to know all these wonderful people. So the videos are there already, and so I will be doing part of it, say maybe 90 minutes and then 30 minutes practice.
Okay.
That'll be with me, and then we're, persuading Inga and Karen in the, in your area, down under area, to be offering a practice session or two throughout the training. Okay.
Lovely.
So yeah, you're absolutely right, Jules, that the practicing and the live part, there's so much stuff that we can do that's just straight videos, or it's just a large group and anonymous, but this is not, it's face to face. Yeah. You'll be learning some of the face to face skills that we teach. And the connection, because the brain learns best with connecting face to face.
And it works just as well through a screen and a camera where your eyes aren't always looking at the right thing.
Yeah, it really, what do you think, Inga? I mean, the responses we've had have been phenomenal.
I certainly was critical. I think how how can you have a real connection with those people? And honestly, I cannot, say more than how deep those connections and how amazing the support has been through that. Only through that. I think we're just far more incredible beings of how we can connect with each other without being in the same room. But the face to face and that has been really important, that you see each other still. And on that level, I think that part, really goes to Stephen Porges' face to face, that we recognize each other, we can read each other, but on another level, we connect really on a energetic frequency level. We are incredible beings, I think, humans, and that certainly has, yeah, been a shift in my awareness of thinking, no, that's possible. It's actually really possible. I see a lot of people struggling with that concept, including practitioners or also clients, where I'm saying, this is really possible. I live in a really remote place and been trying for some people to say, we could see each other in between if you're not coming, up here and or down here to see me. And it's hard for people, to even make that step, but honestly, trust it. It's been incredible. And that team has become a huge support for me over all these years, that I don't have otherwise locally because I'm remote.
Whereabouts are you, Inga?
In Wanaka, close to Queenstown.
I love Wanaka.
A fellow Kiwi here. So so sometimes we'll be doing a group hug with our team, and it really feels like we're connected. New Zealand, Australia, France. So,
I have an identical twin sister, Lisa, who lives in Auckland.
So that's very interesting. So we're going to be working with twin patterns, Jules, as you probably know.
Yeah, I know some amazing practitioners who do. There's one of our cranio trainers who did a birth process and came to Oz a fair bit, but then he did sessions with me on Zoom from New Zealand in New Plymouth. And he had so much somatic awareness. He'd be sitting there going, what just happened now in your abdomen? What just happened in your heart? What happened there? And he's just so connected. But it's trust of myself to be able to connect at my own level without being in a room with facilitation. But I guess I just wonder how it happens and how I do it. Is it belief in myself and trust in myself that I can intuitively connect? Because stuff happens in my cranio sessions, but I'm not nearly as intuitive as Karen is. And the somatic awareness, I feel some things in my body, but yeah.
Well, Karen is amazing. And Jules, it's like, I think the more you learn to trust, it opens up your practice to be able to work online like this all over the world and see some incredible results. And you're going to find with this work, you talked about, not being as intuitive as Karen, but actually we all are, and we're going to be asking you for insights, and you're going to explore your insights and see what happens. And that may be an old family pattern that I'm not intuitive. If you have a twin, I guarantee you are super intuitive. I guarantee, right there. You can't dispute that. And also with a lot of our work, we do these drawings from the soul, and it's not up here. It's just what shows up, and it's usually very accurate, and it tells us exactly what's going on and shows us what we're supposed to do next. So I think you might surprise yourself.
Getting this out of the way.
Yeah. Getting when you say this, let me show you if I can pull it up.
Is that what we're doing tomorrow?
This is what we're doing tomorrow. So here's my chart. You're going to see this a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting the other day.
And let me see. So what we're getting out of the way is the overthinking, and we're also getting the imagination, which is over ruminating, going, I can't do this. Yeah, I can't do this. And if I do light up and get a sense of who I am in my core and start to share that, That's not allowed. Yep. It wasn't allowed in my family. I wasn't acknowledged. I wasn't validated. I can't do it. Or we think we can, and stuff comes in to knock us flat. So this is about having the container and the building that potency, wood energy, that, sorry for the distractions, letting someone in, just building that potency that nothing can stop us from being who we are. And I know, Benjamin, I was going to check in with you, but Benjamin, I just want to thank you for sharing. And here is our beloved Anne-Claire arriving. But Benjamin, when you tapped in, briefly, and you just said it was so effortless. Yeah, I'm just going to see if I can find you. Is this okay to ask you, Benjamin? Or is it too much? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, let me see if I can pin you. Let's see. There you are. How was that for you? Because you did that in front of a large group of, 50 to 100 people, and you were sharing that effortless place from your core. Do you remember when you said that? When you shared
Yeah,
it?
absolutely. Yeah, I have my notebook here where I took note of the sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I remember the when I said about being effortless, it was my experience of being that was like effortless.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just from distinguishing the constraints with the exercise, distinguishing, and then poof, 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 it disappeared, and then and suddenly, wow, I was able to connect with my being. No overthinking, all of that. I was just being, and with an intuitive vision also. I didn't tell that, but I had at the same time I had the intuitive vision of my when I was child in that natural state
Wow.
of flow, creativity, spontaneity,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I was connecting with that memory or way of being. I don't know, but
Yep.
and yeah, and it was effortless to let radiate, shine
Yep.
this my energy, and this way of being, and and to interact with in the group, and to receive mirrors, to integrate, because the identity was still there, and doubting, and ready to close
Mm-hmm.
the experience, but by sharing and interacting with someone, giving a feedback, uh, it was for me an invitation to look at these barriers that was in my blind spot, that and then to, okay, maybe I can be seen, something like this.
Yes. And was
But
it okay for you, Benjamin, to be seen?
not sure. No, no, not 100%. No, no. Even now, I don't feel comfortable, and I have some kind of blah 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 going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you for being brave enough to share again just now. Yeah. Um, and is it okay if I explain a little bit? Yeah.
Yes. Yes,
So
please.
back to my favorite chart. Yeah. What happens is here, this is where the fog layers, we've talked a lot about those fog layers. They come in, they may be just childhood stuff, but often they're ancestral and there seems to be themes in families. Somebody actually asked a question about past lives in the masterclass, and it's like the themes can be similar in past lives or ancestral. And so as we come in preconception, there's all this swirling. I think, Benjamin, you were doing this, yeah, that can throw us off course. And we may come in, with this clear sense. Some of us, I didn't. I did have a clear sense that pushed me here, but there was so much confusion and wars and things going on where I was, that there was something that drove me, but I'm very aware of all the confusions and the denials and the secrets that I had to push through to even be born. So the fact that any of you are here is incredible. And the fact that you're showing up and sharing is even more amazing. So thank you, thank you, thank you, Benjamin. And just be aware that it's normal as we start to connect with that effortless place inside us, which is who we are, that in the early days stuff keeps coming up to throw us off course, all kinds of voices and energies and riptides to say it's not okay. You can't do this. You can't be who you are. Okay? It's normal, which is why I figured I felt called that it's time to share this class. So thank you, Benjamin. And any other questions while I've got you spotlighted?
Yes. Yes. I just came to the workshop with no expectation to experience that, and then it was a big surprise to have this experience. And now I feel called to this work, but I'm 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 in a place of considering because of my usual practice. Uh, the experience I had here is looks something complémentaire. How you say in English?
Yeah.
With
Completely.
my usual practice, that I have a practice that is very spiritual, esoteric, with energy work, but I struggle with embodiment,
Yeah.
and I have lots of up and downs with my and mental health issues, and depressed and fatigue syndrome, etc. And the way I'm used to practice is with some meditation and breath work and quantum work,
Mm-hmm.
energy work. But here, the experience I had here was like becoming aware of something from within. It's like the work I'm doing usually. It's to call to it's working with the breath of life, with the source
Yeah.
and the light, and then
Yeah.
and trying to and practicing to clearing from energy. But here, the experience I had for me seems like um, I had access to 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 this to become aware from what's there, what is there and blocking me. And usually I don't have that. It's not easy for me. I don't know if I'm clear what I'm explaining, but and then the experience I had here was really from within and embody. I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah. Yeah, and
You're explaining it very well,
Yes, okay.
Benjamin. And we do learn all these techniques and practices, so stuff comes through us. We're doing a paradigm shift where we are the center and it's our light sharing. So it's both. It's in Chinese medicine, it's heaven coming in and earth, we ground. But when we're in alignment, there's no effort. We're just grounded. And we're going to be doing some work with where is your core light? That's going to be, Jules, the first session is where is your core light? And we work on resourcing. How deep can you allow it into your body? Can you allow it to your toes? Can you allow it into the earth? And this is you. It's not just about the outside. And for you biodynamic craniosacral people, my experience, so thanks to COVID, where my practice had to go online, I had some of my most challenging clients come online who'd had very, very serious brain injuries. And I was longing to get my hands on them, longing, and they were in other parts of the country. And what I saw was when they'd had those brain injuries, one was a car accident, one was a motorcycle accident where it was a miracle that they survived. They rolled over in the freeway. What I saw is that they lost their core. It got shocked out of them. And what I saw was as they landed and we did these practices, and they had very serious illnesses as a result of this brain damage, digestive issues, all kinds of issues, Lyme, all kinds of diagnoses. They'd been around the block. It was interesting, both of them, they were both about the same age. They got more and more solid and they started just radiating from their core. And I didn't have my hands on them. Couldn't wait to get my hands. But so it really taught me that you can do this work all over the world. Yeah. And you're absolutely right. When it's coming from the inside and you get to see what the blocks are, and then with the work we're going to be doing, it's like the layers that have been programmed into us and conditioned that we think are us, and we'll blame ourselves. And we might spend decades in therapy trying to heal ourselves, and it may be nothing to do with us. And that's what's so liberating. And when we get that, see, I can feel I'm so excited. When we get that, those currents are not us. The whole paradigm changes. And the way we can work with ourselves is very freeing, and the way we work with others is very freeing. And Anne-Claire, you are here now. Welcome, welcome. And we've all been talking about you. But thank you, Benjamin. And I'll come back. I know you've got some other questions I'll come back to, but
Thank you.
I'm going to ask Anne-Claire to share. Is this okay, Anne-Claire? Not too foggy today? You've been dancing, so...
Yeah. I've been dancing. So I might need to think. So yeah, less pressure.
Less pressure. Okay. And Benjamin, remind me, because I know that there's some other questions. And thank you. Yeah. And we see you. Take a look at the group. Anybody see Benjamin and appreciate what he's just been sharing with us? Yeah. Like, thank you. It's really, I think what you're sharing, it resonates with a lot of people. A lot of people. So thank you. All right. So Anne-Claire, I think Sandra was asking about, how often do I teach this? And Inga was talking about, how she did her first one. And you, I think, let us know that when you did the first one, you were focused on, there's a difference from now being prepared. Can you tell us what's happening with you now versus how it was for you the first time around, and what you're holding for the community?
So the first time around,
yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, everyone, Can you hear Anne-Claire? And by the way, Anne-Claire, we have quite a few from Europe, so they're going to be joining you for the practice sessions.
The first time round, I really focused, for me, it was clearing what wasn't mine, identifying what was, it was more the insidious no's. So particularly religious religious imprints, the guilt, shame.
And you've got is it a Catholic background? Dad is a
French family on my mum's side, and my dad had been a Catholic priest, but and my older brother is now
your older brother is
now a Catholic priest. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think just to name on the religious side, just the naming the guilt. Everything was always my fault. It was all my fault, blah, blah, blah. Especially being a mother, it was all my fault. And as soon as I started identifying the guilt, that it was guilt, and also recognizing that that's how my mum grew up, with the guilt, with motherhood, it all being her fault. So I was able to identify, okay, this is not mine, this is my mother's, but also this is religious, this is guilt. Guilt does not serve me. So the more I became able to identify the guilt and I could name the guilt, as soon as I could name it, I could say, I don't need this anymore. I'd say no to that and it would disappear. So that was just one aspect. So the no's were quite huge, being able to identify what's not mine. And I didn't particularly go into the family tree, the secrets, anything like that. But there was one story which I shared with Zoe, I think, about in terms of being a woman and feeling like I had to carry the warrior sword of women's rights. And so I was constantly ready to battle with anyone who wanted to.
I can just imagine you out there battling. Yeah.
So it got a bit tedious for the men in my family, but I felt I could not put down the battle axe. I felt like I had to carry this war cry for women's rights, etc. And it was only through doing this work that I was able to identify that perhaps this was also, well, I was doing it for my ancestors. I wasn't just doing it for me. I was doing it for my ancestors. And I did a check-in with myself, and I checked in with the women in my lineage. And they said to me, listen, if you carry on fighting this fight, then what we've done and all the fight that we've been doing is not going to serve any purpose because you're still fighting. Whereas if you can put down your sword, if you like, then we'll have done our job. Because I felt a sense of loyalty to my past, that if I did stop carrying this war inside me for women, then I was going to disconnect with my lineage and the women of the past. And when I connected with these women in my ancestry, and they let me know that actually I was doing it for them, and at that point I could just give up the struggle, I felt that they started smiling at me, and they were saying, now we can, the struggle that we've been through, you don't have to carry on this struggle. The fact that you're able to just continue without struggling, that means that our struggle has been of purpose. It means that what we've done has actually been effective, so that you can feel liberated. So I felt on that piece, I was very much connecting with my ancestors. But in order to, it felt like part of the insidious no's, I needed to, on that story, I needed to connect with my ancestors. Otherwise, a lot of it was just being able to identify in a lot of the confusion, naming war, and lots of the other, well, as you'll do the course with this, lots of the insidious no's, there was so much confusion. So being able to name a lot of the limitations, identify what they were and name them, and recognize that a lot of the resistance, like, for example, not being able to let go of the story of the struggle for women's rights, being able to name the loyalty and how complex even just the loyalty is and how difficult it is. It felt huge, and that really honored the reason why I wasn't able to carry on and be in my light, if you like. I don't know if I'm making any sense here.
Let's check in and see who resonates. I hadn't heard your story before. Anybody resonate with this? I know, Benjamin, you're a male, but we will be often doing that fight for others. I was doing very similar to you. I had my sword out. I hadn't heard your story, Anne-Claire. And finally I realized, this was about 20 years ago, I had to put my sword down, because otherwise none of the men in my life would ever feel safe. And maybe there was another way, and you got to that in your own way, Anne-Claire. So
yeah. And so the impact of that meant that consequently the men in my life, I was no longer attacking them, and I could hold a position where I could just listen to them and not take it personally, which meant then I could hold the space. And so clearing up that space from the past enabled, and I see the impact with my children, the future generations, is that they don't have to carry this struggle forward, because I've done that work in order and connecting with the ancestors. So a huge liberation, and also in relationship, being able to be in a place of listening, which before I couldn't. I was always on the defense or on the attack, which again were family patterns, but being able to understand why I was behaving like that gave huge compassion to the inherited patterns, the inherited family patterns. Yeah.
So, Anne-Claire, it's like, yeah, I've witnessed you doing phenomenal work, and it's an example of, as we make the shifts, it affects our families, it affects our clients, it affects our communities, because we're holding a completely different place that is much more purely who we are. So what you shared with us was, you were working with the insidious no's, and I haven't really talked about that yet because I didn't want to frighten people away, but we work with toxic lies and programming that tells us, no, we can't do things. So we're going to be working on clearing that. So thank you for naming that, Anne-Claire. And then you said this time you've shifted in your perspective of the way you're working with this now. You did that layer, and now where are you? Do you remember?
Yeah, I was mentioning that this time round, it feels like I had an image that on Saturday in our women's group, I had a lovely connection with the family tree, because from doing the call, I really got the roots and branches, and it kept coming to me, roots and branches, roots and branches. And I ended up having this walk and connecting with the tree and really connecting with the roots, and the branches were giving me a hug. And I realized at that moment too that I was allowing, one, it was connecting with the fact that I was part of the family tree. Yes, a lot of what I was seeing was part of the family tree, but actually seeing it as an image of a tree, and that some of this deep darkness that I had been feeling was, I drew an Osho card, but anyways, it said le mental, mental, the thought construction, and how it was so dark and so negative. And that, in the context of family tree, it made it so much easier to recognize that this was a family pattern that had been passed on, because I could identify parents, but it was also the fact that it was so deeply ingrained. But with the fact that I had the tree, and that I felt supported by the tree, and that, so on the one hand, I was able to feel resourced by the tree, the fact that the tree was giving me a hug, and that I could recognize and allow that in my family tree, I was supported by my family. It meant also that on the inverse, I could start recognizing some very deep rooted patterns that were in the family tree, that I, from just being in the perspective of being, no, I'm not allowing that in, it was like I was fencing in a sort of boxing match or whatever, just, and then to have that recul, taking some distance from it, I was able to have that perspective of the family tree. And so it's a new way of looking at it this time around. So that's kind of where I'm, positioning myself from the healing the family tree session the other day.
Great. All right. So what you're sharing is really coming from that place of, saying no to all the lies and the insidious and the programming, and now the support. You're actually allowing the support to come in and feeling the strength of those roots and the hugging branches. Yeah.
Yeah. And so coming from that supportive resource place, I'm able now to allow to bubble up some very, very dark, insidious patterns that I was not able to necessarily identify before. So, yeah. And so in that, it feels like I am sitting in this perspective of I'm healing the family tree as I have the image of the trees. It's not just me with those behind me and those in front in the kind of like a line, but having the image of a tree, it expands to far more. In fact, I've just literally come back from my mum's family home. I went to the cemetery yesterday and I took some images of the graves of my great grandparents on both sides that happened to be right next to each other. And I felt this is no coincidence. And I went to bed. There was a picture of my grandfather in his army uniform next to the bed. And I thought, okay, I'm really connecting to the family here from this perspective of connection. As opposed to, I think, with just the insidious no's, I was feeling disconnected from the family. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a huge shift right there. Just the way you're talking about it. There's a huge shift inside you, your cells, your brain, everything is transforming. Good job, Anne-Claire. So I'm coming back to gallery mode because this is, Anne-Claire, you don't know, but there was a bunch of us from Europe. And I see Yulia has come. So we were talking, Sandra, we were talking about Yulia from Romania.
Mm-hmm.
Anne-Claire meets Sandra from Holland. Well, Jules is from Sydney, friend of Karen's. Your friend Zoe is here. Benjamin is Belgium. And I don't know where Gabrielle is from. Gabrielle, hi, welcome. Where are you from?
From the UK.
Oh, okay. So whereabouts in the UK?
Well, officially I live in Leicestershire, but I spend a lot of time in London.
Okay.
One of the problems I have is I can't seem to get a safe home. So that's something I want to work on. I'm constantly running away from Leicestershire, particularly after the death of my mother nearly 4 years ago. I entered into a legal battle to do with the home that she and I shared, and I had to move out of it in not the best circumstances. And have ended up feeling not safe at all where I'm living. And anyway, so I'm in London at the moment.
Okay. All right. So you're part of the Europe contingent. So if you decide you feel called to join us to help you with those safety issues, and Claire's leading the Europe practices in European time.
Yeah,
what
lovely.
was it, Anne Claire? Was it like 9 o'clock French time you used to lead? But you'll let us know because it's got to be up to what works with you and your busy schedule. And
I was doing a Saturday morning.
Saturday morning, European.
9 o'clock French time.
Yeah.
Zoe's making a horrible face.
Is that too early for Zoe?
Rise and shine.
I think the time is right for
9:30, something a bit more respectable, but yeah.
Sorry, may I ask then, please? So if I sign up, I'm going to need to be available on Thursday evenings UK time and Saturday mornings?
Actually, I lead the class 8 o'clock UK time. Yeah. Every other Thursday. And that's where you get the data, a little bit more of the intellectual stuff, and we do a practice session. And I think who do we have? Helen is Ireland, and I have someone, Annabelle is in England. So Gabrielle, and then practice sessions. What we've realized with this really deep work is that people love to connect face to face, and it's really important for the brain to change in the neural resonance. So Anne Claire very kindly volunteered. She's got this wonderful little group with Yulia, who is in it. I see Yulia is here from Romania, and Helen.
Although we've been doing it Wednesday morning, we've kind of switched around. So
okay.
It'll be having to rethink. I haven't really thought too deeply about that, to be honest. But
and so Anne Claire leads it, and I think the feedback I've been getting is that people have been doing wonderfully with that small practice. Our groups we try to keep fairly small anyway, but to have that personal touch. So Anne Claire doesn't go into the explanation stuff. Your job is to have reviewed the recording before that. And Claire goes into, you do. I know you're always giving your intuitive take, aren't you, Aunt Claire, which is fabulous. And then the practice sessions, one-on-one, sometimes you have it in your small group, you work together, and sometimes you do it in breakouts, don't you?
Well, often, yeah. So we'll go over the practice session because the time zone for certain people, it can be complicated in the evening, and sometimes it can be long. And so therefore it's nice to have a practice time when we're a bit more awake, essentially. And less, because for some people it's really quite late. We had a lady from Finland, so it was really, really late for her. So, and especially if we've got to work the next morning. So I'm aware that there's, it's nice to do something in the day.
That means 9 o'clock, 9:30 French time.
Yeah.
Okay. And here we've got Layla coming to join us from Hawaii. Layla and Julia are a part of our current community, and they've done, I think, Julia, you've both done, haven't you? The power of your face. So you've done the natural rejuvenation. You've done the birth dance. You've done the twin patterns. So you are highly, highly skilled and qualified. Layla, well done. Thanks for showing up. So we're going to have our group, which includes Layla and Yulia, who have already done the brain network work. Is that right, Layla? How's that been for you? Oh. And Layla, I really commend you because you have shown up to the practice sessions. I think your Hawaii time, so it was more Inga and Karen, wasn't it? And maybe Shelley.
Yes.
And were they helpful for you doing the face-to-face live practice sessions?
It's beyond helpful. It's really transformative on so many levels. This is very much an experience rather than a content. And by having those opportunities to have that direct guidance, it's been incredibly fruitful for me.
Are you able to summarize, Layla, in a few words? You know we do the 10-10. No, you don't have to be that short today, but what the shifts have been for you?
It's been incredibly transformational and fruitful to have experienced guidance.
Well done. You did it. You practiced the 10-10 and I didn't even make you. So yeah, well, it's been a pleasure having you, and it's been a pleasure watching the community, and that now, Layla, we're kind of setting you up, to be moving into a little bit more of your own wood energy, doing your own work for you, and also holding the space for new people coming in. So yeah, we're excited. We are very excited. Okay, so yep, Sandra, good night, Sandra. Thanks for joining us. So now you've met Anne-Claire and you've met some of the wonderful European community. Anybody else got some questions before I go to my list of questions? Jules?
Hi. Can I ask this quick thing there's something about the payments, but back to the TBIs you were talking about. So there's brain injuries.
Mm-hmm.
When they access their core light, did their conditions...
Hold on, I can't hear you. I'm going to turn say that again.
When they access their core light and
yes,
they came back into the center,
yes.
did that heal, their injuries naturally heal, or they just got more conscious and more present and less psychological issue? Or did the actual brain injuries start to heal?
Great question. All of the above. I still haven't put my hands on them.
Yeah.
But one of them just kept getting brain shocks all the time from the Lyme, for example, because having had the head injury, her whole immune system was a lot more susceptible. So yeah, it's a great question. I'm thinking hard. I think it became maybe it was imperceptible that slowly, the brain injury symptoms that I was tracking, but I wasn't tracking them from the place where that was their main chief complaint. I was tracking from teaching them who they are. I'm not telling them, tracking their insights. We work very much from insight and intuition, and I know you say that you don't have good intuition, but I know you do. And as they made those shifts and their brain started changing to, oh, I don't have to live my life stuck in that place where I'm still spinning. There is much more to life than that injury. And yes, we honored the trauma, as we always do. Yeah, we're not in denial. And what does your brain really want to do? What is it naturally designed to do? And those natural mechanisms that we're going to be teaching you in the Brain Bootcamp tomorrow is what helps the brain shift from chemicals that are trauma-based, like norepinephrine and adrenaline, to the healing chemicals, where the brain goes, I know how to do this, this is my normal state, as opposed to being trapped in the old pattern where we keep recreating. And somebody, I don't think you're on the call, but I think you'll be listening, sent me an email saying, which I think she was amazing to get it, was, I'm working with people as a craniosacral biodynamic therapist, and I'm working with the somatic parts, and it helps ease the trauma, but they still want to keep telling their story, and it doesn't heal because they're still somehow stuck. When you bring in this paradigm, in addition to all the incredible work that you're already doing, the brain starts to go, oh, I don't need to keep tracking the old patterns or the lies the wrong messages that my body is telling me, that I always have to live with this. And I can find these new possibilities that are beyond anything I can imagine. So with both of them, they did have massive family trauma patterns. Some quite horrendous patterns that would be unbelievable, if somebody just sat there and told you their story. But when we kept coming to, we honored them, we worked with them, And when they were clear and stopped being literally knocked on their heads from the old patterns, both of them, it was interesting that they both came at the same time. One is male and one's female. And they're thriving. It's incredible. This sounds like a long-winded, but I can tell you because we're working with these multi-dimensions. So when we cleared those currents, literally collision currents, and they were able to just go, this is who I am, and I have my own life purpose, and it is not to get knocked out and nearly killed. I'm free to be who I am. Then the brain starts to bring in, it's like, I'll be teaching you, and I taught them to bring in the healthy patterns that then start to override the old trauma patterns, whether it's childhood trauma or ancestral trauma. Yep. And in their case, they were both highly intelligent, highly, let's call it therapized. They've done tons of work. One ran a meditation community, and they already had done a ton of healing, like, 20 years each of healing, and neither of them could eat any food anymore, barely, they were. And so when we could change that, it sounds like a miracle, but it was baby steps. Yeah, it sounds like it happened like that. Baby steps. And for me to hold that frequency, that I knew they could do it. Yeah? And so the healthy brain patterns start overriding the unhealthy brain patterns, or the stuck trauma patterns, and create new memories that are much more supportive to the brain and your health. Is that helpful, Jules?
Yes. So you have tools and ways of repatting the brain that we follow, and then it's an amazing story and journey. And our bodies know how to be in balance, don't they? It's like the biodynamic cranium.
Yes.
Trusting and
actually, Jules, thanks for that. Our bodies do. And the difference for me, the light bulb went on when I realized that what was I more passionate about? Working with people one-on-one, fixing them, like with acupuncture or any other hands-on, even though they're wonderful and I love them. And what was the most exciting for me was, how can I support people in transforming and empowering, being empowered, where they're in charge. And that's what you're going to be learning, that we help them. Our team, help you to be in charge. What are your insights? What feels right for you? We're not going to go digging. If something comes up, we'll honor it and work with you to do the memory reconsolidation. And it's about you empowering.
You have tools to access the patterns by switching off the brain.
And and it doesn't require some woo intuition, Julie, I promise.
I trust.
It's very, very practical, down to earth, isn't it, Inga? Isn't it, Anne-Claire, Layla, Julia? You've got the tools. It does take practice, and also it takes. Somebody asked about, well, how does this relate to acupuncture? It relates because, and I mentioned a doctor that my husband trained with in 1980, Ted Kapchuk. I met him in 1986. He is now doing research at Harvard on, well, in 1986 when I met him, he was talking about, he didn't use this word, the frequency of the practitioner is what matters. If we're holding a really clear frequency, that through, he didn't use this word back then, through neural resonance, our brains can transform and or support our clients or our community in transforming. Yeah. So he is now doing research at Harvard on what he calls ritual touch. So the touch, biodynamic craniosacral therapy, body work, Reiki, that touch communicates to the patient, whether it's needles or whatever, or fake pills, placebo, and the brain changes and healing happens. So it's totally validating this brain science work that we're doing, which is very exciting. So it's like, no matter what the skills are that you already have, and I know if you're coming to us, you've got skills in many levels, whether it's, body work or business training. Bringing these skills in can create a paradigm shift.
Right.
Okay.
The
So
Brain Bootcamp, is that a tool that we reuse ourselves and we have something we just follow? Is it something you need to reset often?
you're going to be doing it with us, and you're going to be practicing it throughout the whole 6 months with us. So once I know that you've got those tools, even if it's just up here to start with, you'll have a wall chart. You can look at it every day, every hour. And those of you who are listening who are already part of our training, if you haven't got your wall chart, download it and print it. I will also print it in this new Core Light Magic portal. And yeah, you can do it when you're, driving to work, when you're talking to your teenagers, when you're. So it's really simple, it's really fun, and it's just what's natural. Yeah. So it's not complicated. It's a lot more simpler to work with this chart than all the brain work, all the brain training we went through in our trainings.
Yeah, I love neuroscience. It's powerful.
Yeah. Okay, good night, Zoe. I know we'll see you tomorrow at the Brain Bootcamp.
I've got to head off to work too. I just want to have one question about the payment timing.
Yes.
I'm trying to figure out when it goes up to 1,500. Is it so you started at 8 p.m. your time or 12 Pacific time today with this call?
I'm going to cut you off, Jules, because this is an announcement, and we were going to announce this earlier, but we've had so many great questions. I'm delaying the payment to Saturday because we've had so many glitches. So many people have tried to pay and it keeps saying failed. People haven't got our emails. So I don't want you to put you under too much pressure. So we're delaying it to Saturday. So it would be midnight Pacific. So whatever that is with you. So
midnight, the end of the day, Saturday. So that's
the end of the day, Saturday. So you've got
7 p.m. the next night or something.
Is it 7 p.m. the next night for you?
Sunday, I think so.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it
would have been 12 hours from the start of this call, but it's Sunday. Yeah. So when you say midnight, you mean the end of the day. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah, the end of the day. Yes. So, and I just wanted to, regarding payment, I have had, and please, if some of you couldn't make it to the replay, but you'll be watching, please don't feel ashamed or embarrassed that you've asked about had payment issues. Very normal, very natural. I'm not able to reduce it. Some of you have asked that because, it's like the bare minimum for what we're offering. But I do want people to be aware that it is challenging. Right now, the American dollar is pretty high against the Canadian dollar, for example. Yikes. Or Australia. We have got a payment plan. It's which you'll find on the website. But the most important thing is, how much do you value shifting and clearing the old patterns? And we're throwing in the extra practice sessions as a bonus, which is invaluable given how incredible our team are and how busy they are with their own practices, their own families, and Claire with her own farm. And actually, Karen, you've got chickens too, don't you? And so does Nancy. So, they're busy and they're passionate, and they're also growing with their own teaching. And so this is a huge gift for them to actually be donating their time for these extra practice sessions. And we've got the bonus boot camps. One of the reasons that I am offering the ancestral money trauma is because I'm calling you to step up. If you feel called to join us in this incredibly important work and to find that potency inside you, that if it does feel right, that you can find a way to pay the tuition. Because I don't know, I mean, you've all done tons of training. I've done hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of training. I don't know anything that is as cheap as this right now, and I'm offering it at a big discount from $1,500. So, take a look at the website. I'm going to scroll through it very, let's see, gently, just to kind of remind you. And there's Karen, Jules's friend. So let me see if I can go up. And I'll spell out, and if you have questions about this, you can stop me. Okay, so Anne Claire was talking about the insidious nose. That was the name of the program back in 2012, and then I thought it frightened people away. So then I went to Toxic Lies, still frightening, and now we're Core Light Magic, because that is the paradigm that we're coming from. So we've got these patterns, but here's this wonderful family, and Karen has been definitely a big part of this, and it was fun having Matthew. And then, when you get access to the Core Light Magic program and our community, if you do sign up today, you will get the live boot camp. If you sign up by Saturday, Jules, you won't get the live boot camp. I can't change that. I'm able to change extend the tuition, the deadline, because of all the glitches been happening our end, so many glitches, but I can't change.
If I pay from the beginning of this call plus 12 hours, if I pay by then, that's enough to get the boot camp tomorrow.
If you get the boot camp, it would be this call. Yeah,
plus
the beginning
12
of this
hours.
Call, 12 to 12.
So 7 p.m. to me, yeah.
Yes,
perfect.
10 minutes before midnight.
Thank you. That's good to clarify that. Thank you so much. It's
Thank
amazing
you.
offering. And
oh, well, thank you. And it'd be fun to have you. And if you get in and you try to make a payment and it failed, which is what's been happening, you will still get in. All right, I'll still send you an email.
What's the payment method? Is it credit card or is there a few options?
Credit card or PayPal.
Okay.
Here's credit card. Now, my tech person, normally credit card goes through completely normally. Our carrier changed a few months ago, and what we're getting is, I think this happened to Zoe and somebody else, that it says failed, and they're in other countries. I don't know what that's about, but there is a PayPal link as well, so go through PayPal and you can still pay through a credit card through PayPal.
Thank you. Can I just ask one more question? I do need to go soon.
Of course, yes, you got to go.
With the practice, if I have to go to work at the end of the 2-hour call every second Friday, the practice, is that recorded so I can follow your guidance later on and do the practice later? I know it's not quite the same, but it's part of the recording.
But we're also going to prevail on Karen and Inga a couple of times.
Yes, I understand that, but the sessions with you that finish the 2 hours, is that part of the recording? Yes. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much.
That's all part of the recording. Jules, thanks. We'll be looking forward to spending time with you, especially with your twin background.
I know.
All right. That's incredible.
Thanks, Karen, for the inspiration.
Oh, well, lovely. So here, you've heard me talk about that we're not going to be just focusing on trauma. It's shifting it into coming from our internal paradigm. Thank you for your great questions, Julie, because they really are exactly what I wanted to talk about anyway. Yeah. And we're shifting from not the battle axe that Anne Claire was talking about, or the sword of fighting. We're shifting to more the sword of truth and justice, just this clear frequency, rather than having to battle and fight and struggle. This clarity of who we are in the present, the core light. So what I realized, and this is why it's different from family constellation work, when I the very first time I did it, 2004, this dear colleague that I've since worked with for the last 20 years on the behalf of clients, he happened to be leading a conference outside the door of my office, of all places. So this young man who'd done 40 constellations, who was still highly traumatized, was begging me to learn about constellations. And I'm going, no, I've got my own way of doing it. And what came up this first time, and nobody knew anything, but I knew, a little bit like Anne Claire, that my great-grandparents had been talking to me and wanted to share, and they showed up in the constellation. And I was sitting there, and I was shaking, and I was tears pouring down my face, and I was shaking like it was me in the car accident. Now that was 3-4 generations back, great-grandparents. And I realized that if it's really traumatic and you are really sensitive, that I don't let my students or clients do family constellation work live anymore, because I figured if I've got all this training in trauma healing, and I was shaken to my core by what happened. So that's why I kind of really worked on developing this way of doing it where it's not re-traumatizing. Or I've also seen people where they've been there live, and it's just got with some of my colleagues who are wonderful, wonderful constellation leaders, facilitators, and I've seen it, they get a glazed look and it goes over them and it doesn't cause transformation. And so the goal here is to really honor those the wonderful work that people are doing, and for the sensitive souls that I tend to work with, that we work with it in a way of integration and resource and transformation. So welcome, Christopher. Where are you from, Christopher? I see you. Are you driving? We just want to know which part of the world you're in. You're muted. Oh, maybe you can't talk because you're driving. But if you can type in the well, you can't talk. You can't type in the chat either, can you? All right. So I'll just go through the rest of this so that you can. This all should be on your emails. So this is Shelley explaining, talking to people with biodynamic craniosacral or SC background or birth background, why this is complementary. It was for the birth dance, but it's still relevant. And since Shelley is super busy, I couldn't catch her to update it, but it's still relevant. We go into the bonuses, Brain Bootcamp, Ancestral Money Trauma, which I know is big, and I understand it for quite a few of you. So I'm calling you forth to see how creative you can be, and then making friends with change and transitions, which is really important with ancestral trauma, and also death, which I didn't write here because I didn't want to frighten anyone away. And then Brain Bootcamp tomorrow, yeah. And then we start with accessing your core essence. We'll start with that, playing with that. And then we're going to go into the rest, which you can read online. You will tomorrow be getting the My Smiles practice, and that will be posted in the portal, and that will be your daily practice that's really fun. And the clue is every time I see my animals yawn and stretch, they remind me to do it too. And then we get the coaching calls plus practice sessions, the wall chart, which I highly recommend you put it on your refrigerator or your mirror. My Smiles protocol, you're going to get that. Trauma-centered neurocoaching. Facebook, if you want to ask questions or post things. What we usually like to do is post things that are inspiring for us or fun that relate to the clearing ancestral trauma patterns that will help and keep you going. And then you've met Shelley if you were at the masterclass. If you weren't, this is Shelley, part of our team. And I realized my wonderful web person put this up very fast, but I realized all our team are up here. Shelley, Inga, who's here today. Thank you, Inga. Anne Claire, who's here today, who made it from your dance class, who's going to be leading the European group. And then here's the one payment, $797, two payment plan is $450. It is higher. It's in two steps, but it's encouraging you to jump in and get that one payment done. But it's there if you really need help. Nancy, another of our wonderful team members, or from Anne Claire. And then if you missed the replay of the masterclass, it's here. And also this particular Q&A, if you want to go back and listen to that, that will be posted here too. There you go. Anybody else have questions? I'm just going to look at my list because I had a lot. Oh, Gabrielle, yeah, you had a question. Thank you for raising your hand. I can see you.
Hi. I'm literally trying to make the payment right now, and I actually would really benefit from the payment plan, and I don't have it showing up as an option.
Oh, are you?
At all?
I think you need to go back to. The website that I was just on. Let me see.
The 797.
Hold on, Gabrielle. Let me. Tell me what you're doing. Are you
Okay,
on
I was
the
using
web
the link
page?
in the emails that have been sent.
Ah,
Okay, so I better type in another.
yes. The email for
Okay,
this is brand new
thanks.
because I was getting people asking for the payment option, and you want to do the payment option. Is that right? Or you want the full pay?
Yes, so in your one of your emails from last week. Sorry, I'm just trying to get back.
Losing you.
It would be really helpful, yes, because I was going to do the full payments, but it means not paying something like a bill.
Uh-huh.
And I was prepared
One of
to
those things,
do
just a
that.
minor bill.
It would be
Okay,
best if I
Gabrielle.
paid the bill and paid, yeah.
So this is brand new because, we wanted to listen to
So
people.
sorry, did you say there's a brand new link?
See, I'm back on the main
Oh,
website.
hello, can you still hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me? Did you lose us?
Yes, I'm here.
Can you see what's on the share page? Can you see what's on the screen?
Okay, thank you. So I'm just taking a screen, if you don't mind. I'm just taking a screenshot, if you don't mind, and I'll visit this now. Yes, I can hear
Do you want the screenshot is there, but also the main,
you.
so it's
Yes, I
thebirthdance.com.
can. No, I can hear you.
Thebirthdance.com call light
I
20.
can.
Can you see that?
Yes. com/call light 25.html.
Yes. Let me see. Here it is. Do you see that? Got it?
Yes, I thank you. I've seen it. Thanks. I'm going to try it now.
And come back and let me know if it works, because
You.
as we know, that people
Thank
have been
you.
having problems paying.
Okay,
Can
got it. Got it. Thanks.
Yeah? Okay, great. All right. Thank you. All right.
Okay, I'll let you know. Yeah, thank you so
Yes.
much.
I'll keep my fingers crossed. Good night, Gabrielle. See you tomorrow for the Brain Bootcamp.
Okay,
And creating a safe space. That's what we want for you. Creating a safe
thank
space.
you.
All right. Great.
Hey, Susan.
Yes.
All right. My name is Christopher. Hey, I was having a tough time checking in earlier. I was driving.
Yes.
Is it a good time to ask a question or two?
Absolutely. I have a list of questions, but we've all been asking great questions so far and covering a lot of my questions. So, Christopher, yes. Can we see you?
Okay. I'm having a tough time figuring out how to get my face. Oh, there we go. Can you see me now?
I can see you. We
All
can
right,
see you.
great. Fantastic. Okay. So, hey,
Where
I
are
have
you? Where are you located, Christopher?
I'm located on the big island of Hawaii.
Okay, so we have Layla in Hawaii.
Yes, Layla is a fantastic friend and partner of mine.
Oh, wonderful.
So she is who steered me into your direction. And
Oh,
I've just started tapping into a bit of what you do. And I listened to what you had going last week.
class. Okay, so you got that good.
I got that good, yes. And the question I have is not being a therapist or a psychologist, just being a ordinary guy who is trying to understand myself a bit better and the world that I'm living in and my reactions to it. And being a bit of a meditator and practicing awareness, the upcoming Healing the Family Tree, is that something that I could tap into that would be beneficial for me personally, or would I need a lot more background training in what you guys are doing here?
What does my team say? I have an answer, but what does the team say?
I think that's just the beauty, of the work that we do. It's so simple in so many ways, even though, there's so much science behind it. And there's, obviously Susan comes in with an incredible skill set of things, and so do many others that are on the call. But I don't think that should shy you away. That's exactly, I think, what we're here for, that everyone can do those things. And it's so innate. It's just coming from us, really. And it's just learning how to be with that again, maybe, in our world.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Inga.
Okay.
And I don't know, team, if you remember, we had Karen's husband, Matthew. Who else did we have? Nancy's husband, Mark, so Matthew from Sydney, Mark from Montreal. We had Dimitri from LA, and they did phenomenally, didn't they? They just provided this wonderful presence that was just, great, down to earth, matter of fact, none of us woo-woo therapists. It's like, so yeah, absolutely, Christopher, you'd be very welcome. We'd love to have you. And I don't know what work you do, but you might find that it's affecting everything you do.
Oh, fantastic.
Your friend Layla is already affecting you, so.
Yes, definitely. Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you for doing that. That makes me feel very confident. I appreciate that.
Well,
nice meeting you guys.
We'd be excited to have you join us. Okay, great question. So if anyone else who's a lay person who is not really in full practice at all or any kind of practice, you are all welcome, okay? And we love it because it's actually very refreshing to have your perspectives. Okay, all right. So I'm going to run through, again, this is a pop-up, so you're free to pop in and pop out. I'm going to cover some questions that did come up for people, but I think we probably, yeah, I'm just kind of reading. So I did want to say Happy Chinese New Year to all the wood snakes. I couldn't believe the amount of wood snakes, including Inga, that popped up at the masterclass in the chat. That was lovely. And so it is the year to learn the skills in this wood element class. It is synchronicity. It's no accident that we're offering this class in this time of growth and transformation, because this is what the energies are all about, and the time is now, I think. What I do want to say is, and I stress this with Jules, if you sign up today, you will get the live bootcamp, Brain Bootcamp, tomorrow. If you sign up, I am extending because people have had glitches, even you, Christopher, trying to get on today. People have had so many glitches, and we've had payment issues and website issues and all kinds of challenges, including I've had a few burst pipes in my house, and plumbers and builders. So we're extending the deadline to a Saturday. So that would be Sunday, New Zealand time and Australia time, midnight Pacific on the 8th. Okay. So yeah, I've never had anything this challenging. And I'm aware I can sit back and kind of laugh at it, even though I get frustrated, because, these are the swirling ancestral energies that say, you can't share your light, Susan. Team, you can't share your light. We can't grow to the next level. We certainly can't, invite people to come with us and play with us in the tides. And we're saying, nope, we're having none of it. Yep. They're just ancestral and multidimensional challenges that we're not letting stop us. So I hope you take that. It's not a war cry battle axe. It's just a clear frequency calling forth those of you who resonate with this work and are ready. So hope it gives you more time to get clear, if you'd like to join us or not. And I also want to honor any multidimensional challenges you might be having. Some of you have had a hard time making payments, but you've kept on with it. So I really applaud you for that. So this is for you if you're, you've been shrinking, you're not shining your light as bright as you want. You might be feeling less than happy, or you have an intuitive sense that you might have family members or ancestral members' traumas that aren't being talked about, or lies that may be running the family, or secrets that the family's tiptoeing around. I love what Patty, one of our wonderful group of students, talked about at the masterclass, was this is shifting from trauma-informed to core light informed. I love that, Patty. Thank you so much. And I'm just running through some of these questions. So the bonus bootcamp, yes, you get it live tonight if you enroll by tonight, because I can't change it. The Q&A will be posted on the web page, thebirthdance.com/corelight25.html. And we've talked about extra practice sessions. They are pop-up depending on our super busy, wonderful team. And homework, I should have said this at the very beginning. Even if you aren't able to join us, but homework, invite pictures, stories, memories of supportive family members or ancestors who you feel connected to. Yep. It may be a story way in your past, like I have my 12th century Franciscan monk. He's an incredible inspiration for me. Who do you have? And if you can't find anybody, who do you have in the movies, or a hero figure that inspires you? I want you to practice connecting and bringing in those energies, because we're going to be working with that in our official start date, which is the 13th, Thursday the 13th. So that's your homework. We've talked about acupuncture. We've talked about, people having doubts that they can connect to these old patterns. I promise you, you can. Or there'll be movies coming up that suddenly pop up that go, wow, that really inspires me. Or, wow, that touches a hot button with me. Okay, let's bring it to class to work with. Yep. So these things you can bring to class. Let's see. So quick questions. Who am I if I'm not carrying everybody else's stuff? That's been a fairly common question. Yep, that's come up just recently as well. And that's why we start with the core light, because often we don't know who we are. We have no idea who we are if we've been so empathic, we've been carrying everybody else's stuff, especially if you have a twin pattern. Let's see. I feel blocked from my soul purpose. We'll be talking about that. How do I stop the ancestors from blocking me? We'll be working with that. So, it's like, we're going to be teaching you the skills. Here's a big one. What if I can't laugh or play? Big one. Now, often stuff happens that we are stuck in the loyalties of, like Anne Claire was talking about, the loyalties of her female line, where it was too dangerous or too scary or too traumatic, and that we believe that we can't. But actually, that's part of the healing. Okay? So hope you get that. A couple of people have said they have ADD. Will I be able to do the course? Absolutely. Because when you shift into who you are, the ADD isn't relevant anymore. It's just outside distractions. I'm making big promises, aren't I? Yawn, somebody said, or a couple, why do some people lose the capacity of yawning? Yep, if babies can yawn at 12 weeks in the womb. I've noticed that a key thing can be brain injury, or chronic illness like Lyme. And it's very cool when you start to get your capacity back to yawn. I couldn't yawn for a long time. So that does happen. Another, please explain why increased cortisol with yawning is desirable. That is specifically for that. One of the slides I showed was for the genetic predisposition for PTSD. And sometimes the abuse or the trauma was so strong that the cortisol, it's like the body can't produce cortisol barely anymore because it's been so overstressed. And what happens is, as the body starts coming back online, back to life, then a normal cortisol pattern will kick in, that cycle, as opposed to being so minimized, diminished, that we don't even recognize when we're not safe. Okay, and we can't even respond if we're not safe. So that's why the yawning is important in that case. Let's see, this was very, we've talked about what if I don't fit in with the group. My response to that is, what about a lifetime of not fitting in, and we think it's our childhood trauma, and what if it was a lifetime of not fitting in ancestrally? Yep. And if I think about my grandmother, who was the orphan, I remember taking on her pattern of never feeling I fit. Didn't matter where I was. I'd go for walks in London, Gabrielle in London, and I'd stare in at people's windows, and they would look so cozy and comfortable with cats sitting in the window, and I'd go, they can have this, but not me. That was my grandmother. That was her orphan story. That fits in with the next question of, could you talk about being adopted? Yeah. So once we unlock from that and come into our core light, it's not such an issue. I'm not resonating with my grandmother anymore. I'm not that orphan. It was she that was the orphan, and she didn't fit in. And now I have an incredible community and a wonderful husband who you might have met in the last masterclass. I'm zooming through this. So hopefully, if you wondered if you don't fit in, I'm going to invite you to practice clearing those old patterns and seeing what happens. Okay. Here's a very wise comment from a body worker, accessing their somatic awareness in the present moment interrupts and provides awareness, but does not heal. Why? So this is a really good question, because a lot of us do come from the bodywork backgrounds, and they're incredible. And what happens if it doesn't hold? It's because we're working from bottom up, which is really important and nourishing and yummy. And we need to bring in the brain skills as well. And that's where we teach our clients. We empower them. We're not just helping them access and fixing. We are empowering them to be able to shift into this state for themselves, which is super thrilling. We've talked about insights. We've talked about the new payment plan. And I think we probably covered most of this. I think Jules was asking about how long does it go on for. In the old days, when it was simply rejuvenate my face, fire element, we were able to stick to the time. But as we got more into birth, twin, and especially this, if people need to go on longer, we will hold a space for them, because we're not going to cut it off at exactly this time, because sometimes the brain, the body, the being moves at a different pace. So I do my best, and if you want to stay longer and do the longer practice sessions, then we will do that. Let me see what else. Oh, I doubt I can access deep layers and memories for this to work for me. Don't worry, you can, and we're not going to go digging. It will come up if it's meant to, and if not, it's great practice to keep shifting into the joy grooves. Yes, I'd love to feel more joy, ease, and peace, and laugh more. Yeah. That's what we hope you're going to be doing. We've talked about past lives. We've talked about, I think some people have talked about emotional or mental concerns that block them. Yep. Whose are they? Are they really yours? Are they childhood traumas, really? Or are they other people's patterns that you don't need to carry, which is what Anne-Claire was talking about. Yeah. Christopher asked, I'm not a professional healer or body worker. Nope, doesn't matter at all, not in the slightest. If you feel you're lacking direction, just know that it makes perfect sense. Why would you be able to have any direction if there was so much colliding currents happening around you as you were growing up? Not your fault. Let's see. It does take practice. I have been quite fierce about that. It takes commitment and it takes showing up. Yep. And then that face-to-face resonance, your brain starts to shift because there's an inner knowing that you can do this, and it's not from sheer willpower or yang, let's do it, or what is it, Nike, just do it. It comes from this internal, and Benjamin, you shared this so beautifully. This was coming from the inside of me, when we did that little core essence exercise. I think I've zoomed through. I don't know if anyone is still here. Let me see. Oh, you're still here. Goodness me. Benjamin, hi, you're still here too. It's late in Belgium, I know. So at least I've got that on for the replay. Anybody have any final questions before we close? I think we have just Benjamin left. Benjamin, did I answer your questions? How are you doing?
No more questions.
No more questions?
No. No.
It's late for you in Belgium.
Yes, I'm clean. I'm sorry, I was off camera. I'm cleaning.
Yeah, no problem.
The kitchen.
Yeah. So, all right. So I think I've answered nearly everything, and I'll be posting the replay if people want to go back and watch or review, or people who didn't get to come to the call. And Benjamin, hopefully you'll be able to figure out a way and find that wonderful wood energy that you have and that effortless place to join us. You'd be very welcome. And I think, as you saw with Christopher, he doesn't have a profession. He's a normal guy. He doesn't need, you don't need to have clients to be doing this work. I think what's most important is you first. I'm glad you don't have clients. You first, you're the most important right now.
But when I say that, it's not fully. I'm not really authentic because I'm attracting people, and I have projects, but I procrastinate too. I procrastinate. I doubt myself, and so. I don't really I don't have clients, but I see myself starting something, and when the moment, when the right time. And when I had this experience during the workshop, I was present to a vision for the future. It was opening the future. So I was seeing myself starting what I want to do. Yes.
Great. So if you want support where you have that vision and you're not getting distracted, we're happy to support you in fulfilling that vision. That's our job.
Okay.
All right.
So it's not just transformation. We apply also on with we can apply also that was a question I had. It's with an action. I may start to have some action plan, and if and practice through the program to stay on the track of and with my action plan, with my core light and my
What do
core
you
deep.
think, Inga and Anne-Claire? Are you feeling that you're more focused on track with why you're here on planet Earth?
Totally. And I'm still, there's still wobbly and waving and all that. I mean, don't get me wrong. But yeah, no, it is truly. There's one exercise where we say I'm on track, and it's a little jiggle dance end to it. And yeah, I'm doing that daily. Mother Earth, Father Sky, down below, up on high, right side, left side. So it's really, and then it's I'm on track. It truly, there's so many things we can do to keep ourselves on track.
Inga, we'll have you teach that, because that was inspired by Ray Castellino. So we'll have you teach that to the group. Yeah. Yeah. And Benjamin, yeah, you'll get that. And Claire, do you think that it's helping you? By the way, I love those pictures of you teaching those toddlers. It's like so sweet. Yeah. And Claire is teaching in France now, Benjamin, and just so inspiring what you're up to too. Both of you, Inga and Anne-Claire, I'm just watching you like, yes.
Yeah, I'd say having cleared away so much confusion and clutter and just clearing what's not mine, and then creating space for myself to settle into myself, then opens up so much potentials and possibilities. And that feels so much clearer in terms of what is it that I want to do. And then it feels like, okay, it's one little step at a time, but I know the direction that I'm going into. And having cleared out for myself personally so much judgment and negativity towards myself, and part of the self-soothing, all this gentleness and cultivating that gentle, safe container for myself means that I can face challenges in a lot more fulfilling and easier way. I can take those little steps towards a goal rather than just giving up or and if I get distracted, I don't beat myself up about it. I just understand that that's just where I'm at or whatever. With massive compassion and just coming back. So I think that's the yin of the yin wood snake. There's the slow inner gentleness that is so nourishing, and that enables new growth to really flourish, to become big things. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. And Benjamin, honestly, when I downloaded a lot of the material in 2012, I've had to grow so much and clear those distractions so that I could even bring this out to a larger community, and just stay on track with my own guidance. I could not have offered this to you in 2012. So and my excitement is to be able to share this with you and having our team here in a way that's so much faster. It's not going to take you 12, 13 years of struggle and expense. And, it's just, we've been able to distill it into this course. And I've been at that, and I'm only able to discount it, as I say, till Saturday night, but I'm able to do it because I know it's worth it. So anyway. Thank you for coming today, Benjamin. Really appreciate you showing up.
Thank you. And yeah, I'm still not clear, and I will. It's every day. It's every day facing myself. Only me. I know.
You may be facing yourself. You may be facing your demons, and they may not be.
Yeah.
They may not be yours.
Yeah. Exactly. Yes.
So, if you want to let them win, you stay like in this confused place. If you want to push, just say hell no, then come join us. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I will let you know. Thank you. And thank you.
yeah,
Okay.
thank you. Really appreciate you showing up. I'm glad you met Anne-Claire, who's your European point woman, and
Yes.
Inga.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Great.
Lovely meeting you.
Yeah, take care.
Yeah. For me too. Thank you.
Hope to see you soon.
Yes. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. It's important to honor that I don't know place. Just really
Yeah.
honor it and know if that's you or is it old patterns. Just to keep asking that question. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, and I know Inga didn't see this, but I don't know if you did, Anne-Claire. But did you see Benjamin when he went into the effortless place? No, neither of you. Oh, so I'm the only one that saw when you went into your core essence and that effortless place. It was incredible, and it touched everybody else in the class. I'm going to invite you to hold on to that place. If you want more of that, come and hang out with us. If you let the demons win, then I wish you the best of luck.
Yes.
But if you want to come play with us, then you're very welcome.
Got it. Okay, got
All
it.
right. And we're holding that place for you, that your core essence and that effortless place of who you truly are, that you saw a vision of your future. So it's your choice. All right. Take care. Hope to see you soon. Bye. Well done, you two. Thank you so
Shall
much.
we close the